Jim Courier joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, the Tennis Channel analyst, four-time Grand Slam champ. How are you, JC?
I'm doing great, Rich. We're just over here at the All England Club just catching our breath after Roger Federer just took out the local favorite, Andy Murray, in straight sets. It's been a heck of a day so far.
He looks like he's never lost a match again. Jim, where did this come from?
You know, I think the key, Rich, is to be 33. That's the key age in tennis right now. Serena Williams is 33. She looks impeccable. Federer, I'm telling you, today is the best I've seen him play in this stage of a major championship since 2010 when he beat Andy Murray in the finals down in Australia. So, I mean, he looks incredible. And the final for the men with him going up against Novak Djokovic is so tasty. That's going to be a great one.
Yeah, that is, as Djokovic took care of business today against the Frenchman Richard Gasquet, or as my colleague here from Maine, when reading his name the other day, called him Gasket. And,
Gasket, yeah.
And Jim, I think you'll appreciate this, because we just said if you're going to call him Gasket, then you just got to go Richard Gasket. And then we just wound up, we found the final resting spot was Dick Gasket. Jim?
Yeah, I think Dickie G is really where you got to go eventually. just simplify things. You just go straight to Dickie G.
Yeah.
You have no problems there. It's all, you know, the great French player Guy Forget. Let's just call him Guy Forget.
Guy Forget?
Let's just do that.
How can you forget Guy? You can't forget Guy. So handicap the Djokovic-Federer match for me, if you please.
It is tight, Rich. I mean, they've both been nearly flawless in this tournament. For Federer to beat Murray the way that he did, serving the way that he did, it's hard to see anyone beating him. But then you factor in that Djokovic is the greatest return of serve that we've ever seen in men's tennis, and he tends to do pretty well against Federer in general. I mean, it's as close to a pick'em, I think, as we can get right now. And the one big question mark I guess I have is Djokovic, when it gets down to it, does he have a hangover effect in the back of his mind from the French Open final where he was the favorite there and couldn't get it done against Stan Wawrinka? You know, that's been somewhat of an issue for him in finals and majors over his career, being a little bit tight at times. If he's tight at all against Federer, he'll pay a big price.
Yeah, we talked about this the last time that you were on, Jim, that in Boris Becker, Djokovic's coach's book, saying they don't like each other and they're just trying to be PC. They don't?
Yeah, that according to Boris, although I'm not sure how accurate that is from Boris and how much the people who put his book out needled him into saying that. I've got to believe there's some commercial reasons for that. What do you think?
I've heard of those types of stories before. There's no doubt about that. Because I know you're up against it. You're there in the All England Club, and you have to go do your day job. Let's hit Serena, please. I mean, what she is doing right now is all-time great stuff. Is she the greatest tennis player ever? Let's put it that way, regardless of gender. Jim?
I think that when you put her at the top of her powers against any other female player, she would win. I think that she's unquestionably, on her day, the greatest female player of all time, and I think that given some more time, statistically, she'll probably own that outright as well, because she's a couple slams short of Steffi. She has 20, probably 21 after tomorrow, and Steffi has 22. That's in the Open era. And then all time, yeah, I mean, she has more majors than Roger Federer, who's sitting on 17. That's the all-time best in the men's game. So you could certainly make a strong case Serena is the greatest tennis player of either gender to ever play.
And what about this young Venezuelan, the 21-year-old? Does she have a shot here to try and upset her?
You know, Muguruza, she's a great athlete, Rich. She's 6 feet tall. She moves well. She has a lot of power, and you need power, but you also need movement to compete against Serena, and that's what Sharapova lacks, is the movement. She's tall, she's strong, she hits the ball well from the center of the court, Sharapova, but once you move her side to side, she really doesn't compete against Serena, and that's why there's such a mismatch there. Muguruza, she has the firepower, she has the athleticism, she does not have the experience, and she certainly doesn't know what to expect. I'm sure when she gets out there, it'll feel very different. It felt really strange for me the first time I stepped onto a court for a major final, and that was at the French Open, and I think Wimbledon's probably even a greater sense of pressure and urgency. So she's up against it. I expect Serena to win. I think it might be quite comfortable, but she has lost to Muguruza at the French Open last year badly, actually. So we'll see. It'll be fun to watch. There's no doubt.
And your comments about Sharapova, I couldn't hear them over the ringing in my ears, still echoing the grunts and screams that I heard every time she hit the ball, Jim. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You might have to repeat that.
You remember the Vuvuzela from the World Cup football down in South Africa?
Yes.
When I think the TV, they were trying to get like a frequency gate to block it out so you wouldn't hear it. That's what we need from Maria. I mean, God bless her. She's a great competitor. She's fierce. She's feisty. But if she could just not scream every time she hit the ball, she'd be so much more fun to watch.
But is there an intimidation factor here? Because the tiebreaker scream seems a little louder than the early first set scream, Jim.
I don't think she's going to intimidate Serena Williams.
No, that's true. That's true.
I don't think that's going to happen. But, the thing that I guess I scratch my head at is I watch her warm up, I watch her practice, and there's no sound at all, and she hits the ball just as hard. But it's what she's always done. I'll give her credit for being consistent, if anything.
And, Jim, every time I think of Wimbledon, I do think of you because the one time I was there, you were kind enough to bring me and Susie and our group into the booth with you as you called the match with Marv Albert, Jim.
We needed some pros in there, for God's sakes. I'm an amateur. We had to have some pros in there, Rich.
Calling tennis with Marv, Jim.
It's the best. Yes, Sampras with the ace.
And feel free, Jim, as I let you go back into the All England Club, feel free to use Dickie G to refer to Richard Gasquet. Try and spread that around and own it if you can. Okay, Jim?
Well, I'd be borrowing it from Brad Gilbert, who has a nickname for everyone and has called Gasquet Dick Gasket for years because A, he can't pronounce any foreign names,
right.
And B, he thinks it's clever.
Did you notice how I let you
give BG a little credit?
Did you notice how I let you pronounce Muguruza's name before I took a shot at it, Jim? Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. I got all of that. No, that's why you're a smooth pro.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Hey, Rich, great talking to you.
Same here. Jim Courier, 4-time major champion of the Tennis Channel.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.